Hi and welcome back to Love English. I'm Leila, and in today's lesson I want to help you. I want to help you clarify the meaning of some confusing words in English. Many of these words are easily confused by native speakers as well. So if you are a non-native, no wonder why. Words like effect, ensure, assure, accept, loose, lose. It's just no wonder why some of these words completely confuse you. So, in today's lesson, I want to explain exactly what the differences are, the difference in use, meaning, and pronunciation. Now, of course, there is no better way to practice using some of these confusing words than with a native speaker. And in today's lesson, you have the chance to win a 3-month course with Cambly. Cambly are one of our most trusted partners, and for the first lesson of 2021, they want to help you get off to a great start. They want to help you achieve your New Year's resolutions, which of course includes perfecting your English, and give you the chance to study with one of their professional native English teachers for 3 months. So, how do you win the chance of having 2 lessons per week for 3 months, 30 minutes each lesson with a native professional Cambly teacher? Well, I want you to comment below using at least 10 of these confusing words in complete sentences. So this will really be testing whether you have paid attention to the full lesson and learnt all these confusing words. Well, they shouldn't be confusing anymore actually by the end of the lesson. Now, as many of you already know, Cambly is an app. It's exclusively for learning English with professional native teachers, available 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. It really is one of the best apps out there to give you real, practical, face-to-face, virtually speaking, experience with a professional teacher. And their teachers are based all around the world. So if you would like to learn American English, TOEFL, or British English, IELTS, or simply are looking to boost your conversation skills, Cambly will have a teacher for you. Now, even if you don't win this competition, Cambly still have an extra offer for Love English subscribers. With the code Leila-Sabrah10, you're able to have a 10% discount on a month's course with Cambly, 19% on a 3-month course, and 32% off a 1-year, an annual course. Now that actually works out to about 4 months free lessons. So it really is a great offer, guys. And remember, one of the best things about Cambly is that you can study for as little as 15 minutes. So even if you want to have regular practice with a native speaker and you don't have that much time to fit into your schedule, Cambly is one of the most flexible ways that you can study and learn with a teacher. Click down in the description box and of course the comments section to learn more about Cambly and their terms and conditions of use. And don't forget to win that 3-month free subscription for 2 lessons a week with a Cambly teacher, do share your 10 sentences with these rather, or hopefully not so, confusing words that I'm about to explain now. Shall we get on with the lesson? Let's go. Right, number 1 and 2. Accept, accept, and accept, accept. So pay close attention because I am adding the phonetics here with each of the words. You can see with accept, the A is actually an schwa sound, and accept is more of an I sound. So very, very similar, but not quite homophones. Now, what's the difference in use and meaning? Well, quite simply, accept is the verb. To agree, to receive, or do. To agree to something. Do you accept credit cards here? I accept we have different opinions. It's really not a problem for me. I offered her an apology, but she wouldn't accept it. Number 2, accept. Except is actually a conjunctional preposition meaning not including or but not. So let's have a look at some nice clear examples. The shops in England are open 9 to 5 except on a Sunday when they're open 10 till 4. You've only got 6 hours trading on a Sunday in the UK. The children were all very well behaved except for Bobby. He was a little bit of a monkey today. I love all Italian food except pizza. I'm really not that keen on pizza. Right, number 3 and 4. These two are definitely commonly confused and a little more advanced. Adverse, adverse, and averse, averse. So similar sounding and not too dissimilar spelling, to be honest. Adverse means harmful, having a negative effect on someone or something. Often used when we're talking about the weather, adverse weather conditions. The concert was cancelled because of adverse weather conditions. So basically it was horrible weather, raining, windy. Ugh, typical English weather probably. They received a lot of adverse publicity and criticism about the changes they made. Averse actually means to have a strong disliking of something. These are both adjectives, of course, as you've noticed in the sentences. So with averse, you could say, I'm not averse to the odd glass of Prosecco. Few people are averse to the idea of a free holiday. Right, number 5 and 6, and if I'm honest, these two really do confuse me sometimes. I do have to sometimes think about which one is the noun, which one is the verb, and how to spell them correctly, even though the spelling is simply the difference between an A and an E. Affect, affect, and effect, effect. Now, affect is usually used in the verb form, but it can also be a noun. If we look at these examples here, both buildings were badly affected by the fire. Children's education is being badly affected by the coronavirus. It's a virus that affects many older people. So here you can see that the meaning is essentially to have an influence, to change something, or to cause a change in someone or something. So affect. Now, effect, effect, with the E at the beginning, is in fact more commonly used as a noun, meaning to bring about a result, or the result of a particular influence. So we of course need another example here, or two. Burning fossil fuels has a very negative effect on the environment. Burning fossil fuels has a very negative effect on the environment. I've got a terrible headache today, but the tablets don't seem to be having any effect. I think I'm suffering from the effect of not having enough sleep. So, affect and effect. Effect and effect. Try and come up with some good examples to illustrate the difference between the two. They are two of the trickiest words, I think, in the English language, but I'm sure now you're able to use them much better. Ensure, ensure, and assure. Assure. Ensure, ensure, assure. Right. So these three, slightly different spellings, very different meanings, and of course ensure and ensure, actually homophones. They sound the same, but assure, the last one, a little bit different. We've got the schwa there instead. Ensure with an E is a verb and it means to make certain something will happen. The airlines are taking steps to ensure people's safety when travelling. At the university, we ensure that you have the best level of education. To insure, a little bit boring, it's about protecting your property. This could be buildings insurance, life insurance, health insurance. To insure, the verb. Basically, you protect yourself against any risk by paying a company who will then pay out should you need the money to buy a new car, get some kind of medical treatment, etc. So insurance would be the noun, but to insure is the verb. I ensure my cats have the best life by insuring them. So if they need to go to the vet, I can pay for any treatment. We had to insure our home, just in case there's a fire or any damage caused by bad weather. And finally, assure, assure is again a verb to say with certainty. To say with certainty. I assure you we are doing everything in our power to make sure your children have the best education online. to tell someone something is true, particularly if perhaps they don't have much confidence in a situation. She assured him that her report would be ready in the morning. Especially and especially. Especially and especially. Especially. Now, these are often used interchangeably. They are frequently used in the incorrect way, but at the end of the day, they are so similar, it doesn't make too much difference. But I am going to explain the difference right now. Especially can mean extremely or in particular. Extremely or in particular. I cooked this meal specially for you. This is specially good wine. Is there anything you want to do this evening? Not specially. Now, especially, meaning very much, more than usual, or more than other people and things. She's not especially interested in sports. I love Italian food, especially penne al salmone. I love my hometown, especially in the summer, meaning more in the summertime. So really the difference here is that especially is used when talking about above all, more than others, whereas specially is more in particular, for a particular purpose. I really think these two are pretty confusing. And to be honest, if you do make the odd mistake with them, it's not the end of the world, particularly in spoken English. Because both specially and especially can actually be used to talk about for a particular reason, a particular purpose. I bought these specially, or in fact, especially for you. Whew, okay, a little bit confusing there. Essentially, when we're referring to in particular, both options are okay. So, inquire is a verb simply meaning to ask for information. It's a nice, more formal alternative to ask, in fact. I'm just writing to inquire as to whether you have got my booking on record. Shall I inquire about the price of the tickets? Now, inquire is in fact more of an American spelling. So in British English, it's more common for us to write with the E, inquire, but in American English, inquire. Now the pronunciation is exactly the same, as you can see from the phonetics, so don't get too confused there, it's an inquire. Now, where these two really do differ is simply that in British English, inquire with an E, inquire, was traditionally used to refer to asking, but inquire, like inquiry, in British English was more to do with an investigation, with a formal investigation. Now in the UK, to be honest, whether you spell with an E or an I, it kind of doesn't make too much difference. They're more or less interchangeable. But that was the original difference in meaning. So in American English, with an I, the spelling with an I, inquire is the traditional, more commonly used spelling. Whereas in British English, you could come across both. It might still be that in some situations, for example, police reports, that you'll find they still use inquire with an I to talk about more formal investigations, but generally speaking, both can be used. Okay, practice and practice. Homophones, same pronunciation, but you may have noticed that sometimes practice can be spelt with an S and sometimes with a C. Now, in British English, again, there is a difference. Practice with an S is simply the verb, whereas practice with a C is in fact the noun. I like to practice speaking Italian. How much practice do you do? So, verb versus noun. But in American English, practice with an S is used for both the verb and the noun. I do think the Americans tend to keep things a little bit more simple, which is probably quite nice for you guys. So, in British English, S, practice, the verb, C, practice, the noun. In American, practice with an S, verb or noun. That simple. 15, exactly the same. Advice with the C is the noun. Be careful because advice is uncountable. I hear lots of people say, can you give me an advice or one advice? But in fact, you would say some advice, okay? It's uncountable. But listen here, this is the difference. With an S, advise, advise. She advised me to take the exam early. This was good advice. She advised me to take the exam early. This was good advice. So here you can hear the difference between the C, S sound and the S, Z sound. Advice and advise. So I definitely want you to try and have a go at using those two in a sentence and then reading it out loud to yourself. I think I'll take your advice. I need some advice. Which computer should I buy? Now, it is worth noting that there are some particular structures after advise. Okay, so you can advise someone to do something. I advise you to postpone the wedding until the summer. They're advising that the children stay home from school. I'd advise waiting a little longer if I were you. So there we've got ing, the gerund form. I'd advise waiting, going, stopping. And then if you want to be really formal, you could use the expression, you would be well advised to have the appropriate vaccinations before you go abroad. So this is where you're trying to really stress that this is a very good, important piece of advice. And the last one's not too difficult here, but I frequently see them misspelt because people get confused as to the spelling. To lose, lose, you lose a game, the opposite of win. So you could also lose something, you no longer have it, you don't know where it is. I always lose my keys. To have something taken away from you. Many people will lose their job. You can also stop feeling something. For example, to lose confidence or faith in someone or something. And of course, to have less of something than before. I'm trying to lose weight. The mistake that is often made is with loose. Double O, oose. Loose versus lose with a Z sound at the end. So loose is an adjective rather than a verb like lose. Often when we're referring to clothes, we can describe them as loose, meaning not tight fitting. This top is quite loose. You can also refer to your hair as being loose. Right now my hair is loose, so it's not tied back. Basically, loose things are not held together very tightly. They are free to move, essentially. And that's it. It's pretty simple. So that was about 17 words that are commonly confused in English. Remember, if you want to be entered into the competition to win that 3-month subscription with Cambly for free, 2 lessons a week with a professional Cambly teacher, then make sure you comment below. I want 10 sentences. So 10 of the words out of the 17 that I gave you in sentences that are personal to you. Refer to your own life experience. Remember, my top tip is always to personalize the language because it helps you remember the words, the vocabulary, or even grammar. Thank you so much for watching, and there will be many more lessons to come this year. Of course, Sabrah actually has one coming very soon. Thanks again. Bye.